Hey students, it is Mrs. Castro, or Allison, as you can call me. Feel free to do that. I am sending out this video announcement in addition to a written announcement so that everyone stays on the same page and making sure that everyone understands what's being asked of you. So we've had a couple things come up this semester in regards to the case logs. There's been a lot of confusion about how to do them, and we've had some things come up as far as where to turn assignments into. We've had some discussions as faculty and with Mr. Lira, and we decided to go ahead and make some changes. And so this purpose of this video is to let you know what those changes are and to make sure you know where to find everything. So the first thing is changes to the syllabus. All of these have been updated in the syllabus, and the new syllabus is right here. I do have the old one still in there, so you can reference it if you'd like. So the first thing that I want to make clear is that on page 2, you are not done with clinical, and I said this in our meeting in week 1, when you hit 144 hours. This is also until course objectives are met. It was verbalized, and it's a known thing with the faculty, but there seems to be some confusion with the students, so I went back and re-added it into the syllabus. It had been in there before in previous years, but there seemed to be some confusion with that, and so wanted to make sure that you are not done with clinical just because you hit 144 hours. You must meet the course objectives, and your local clinical faculty will determine whether or not course objectives are met. Remember, these are the course objectives, and these are what you're grading yourself on and what we are grading you on. If you scroll down, I put all these changes in, highlighted them in yellow. We changed where you're going to upload things. The only things that changed is your quarterly self-evaluations, which regardless of where you are in your clinical rotation, I know that Eagle Pass, y'all got off a week on stuff, so you're turning in your pre-experience paperwork and your bi-weekly evaluations at the opposite weeks as everyone else, but the quarterly evaluations are still due at the same time as everyone, okay? Those have to be those are not called 4-week evaluations for a reason. They're called quarterly. So in order to fit in 4 throughout the semester, you need to follow this schedule. Okay, so this is when these are due. What I changed about them is where they're due. So because we want to give you feedback directly on the documents, the best way for us to do that as faculty is to have you upload them into Canvas. There's some features in Canvas that allow us to make marks on the paper. I used this for your EKG exam when I graded those, so we can give you feedback directly on the paper, and that way you can see and are not having to go back and forth in Typhon trying to figure out what we're talking about on your document. So your quarterly clinical self-evals are now due in Canvas. Everything else stays in Typhon, as far as your paperwork and your biweekly evaluations from your preceptor, just because I don't have a good place to put those in Canvas. Right now they're going to stay in Typhon, okay? Your community teaching project stays in Canvas, and the only other thing that has changed are your nursing care plans. We're going to have you upload those into Canvas as well. So if you scroll down to page 13 and 14, your nursing care plans, it's now made clear that they are due in Canvas, and remember these are due at the end of the 3rd week of your rotations. And then your, we'll go back up to those things. And then your clinical evaluations, remember you have to initiate this, your self-evaluations. They're due, the due dates are above, and we're going to have you turn those into Canvas as well. Okay, so quick recap. So far, clinical objectives, those have to be met, not minimal of 144 hours. Okay, your quarterly evaluations, everyone turns them in at the same time, and your quarterly evaluations are going to be uploaded into Canvas. Your nursing care plans are also going to be uploaded into Canvas. Now you might be asking, well, what if I already did them and uploaded them into Typhon? that's fine. It would be easiest for us as faculty if you would like to go ahead and upload your quarterly evals and your care plans into Canvas. We'll go off of what dates you submitted them in Typhon as to whether or not they were on time. Because remember, there are deductions for late submissions. But if you would upload them into Canvas, it would help us greatly in getting those graded faster. The other thing that I want to point out is, first thing is that previously under our sim grading, we were using going to try a different grading tool. We ran into some issues with that, and so we're using the same grading tool for this course and your didactic course, and I put it in the appendix so you could take a look at that. And then last change is to your case logs. So what we were going to go with before was we were going to go with a pass or fail for each case log, but a lot of y'all have been struggling with these in spite of my efforts. I'm really not sure where the disconnect is because I'm just overhearing things from students. Nobody's directly reached out to me what the problem is, so unfortunately I'm having to fix this kind of blindly, but I just know that it just was not getting done correctly. So I've sent out grading rubrics. I have this here in the syllabus, and so we decided to, instead of making it pass or fail, go back to what we've done in the past and give each case log a grade on a scale of 0 to 10, with 10 being the max points you can get for your case log. And then what's going to go in the grade book is if you went to clinical more than once or did more than one case log, your average score on your case logs that week are what will go into the grade book. So let's pop over to the course again. So I left the syllabi up there so you can compare the two. And then under modules, I updated some stuff. Your nursing care plans. Under the instructions, I updated where you will upload them, so that gets uploaded into Canvas. And then I updated your grading rubrics. So before I had them split into two papers, I just went ahead and put them both in here. Remember that it's all about case logs, but that there's two different grading rubrics. There's one for acute care rotations or whenever you enter just something on a patient. If you do a group encounter, you'll be graded off of this grading rubric for your group encounter, and that's applicable to special care rotations. You should not be doing group encounters. I repeat, you should not be doing group encounters when you're in an acute care rotation. You should have been taking care of one patient. And when you're in the ER and maybe you've taken care, like full care of a couple patients, then you need to do more than one case log. So guys, this is all about entering information accurately. So there's 2 points possible for every section in this column here. So if you meet this, you'll get 2 points for entering your student information, patient demographics, and your clinical information accurately. Then your medications. So you need to know what OTC medications or over-the-counter medications the patient takes. Just enter the number. How many home prescriptions they have. So in the hospital, you would look at their home medication list. In your special care rotations, you would look at their med list kept on file to see how many medications they take at home, and any new prescriptions. So these would be they're most applicable if your patient's being discharged or was discharged during your shift and was sent home with new prescriptions. That's where you'd put that in there. And then remember that you have to put any currently prescribed. So that's currently prescribed when you made contact with the patient. So that'll be medications that, if you're in the OR, those will be the medications that were given to the patient regardless of whether or not you gave them. If they were prescribed, that means ordered and given to the patient, or just ordered. I'm sorry, they don't necessarily have to be given, but if they were ordered for the patient, when you made contact with the patient, you need to put that in your case log. So general anesthetics, local anesthetics, epidurals, all of that still goes under your currently prescribed medications. adherence issues with medications. That includes if a patient's not taking a medication correctly, has beliefs or doubts like that they're going to get addicted to medications. Any of those, you need to select the correct adherence issue. I have yet to meet a patient in my practice that did not have any adherence issues, but if you run across one, you select other and write not applicable. And then make sure that you're keeping documentation of all the procedures and skills, so that involves procedures. So if you are in the OR observing procedures, you've got to document what you saw. I don't want to see these just down in your clinical notes, what you saw. Your procedures and skills also need to be up under your skill summary. And remember, this is anything you observed, assisted in, or performed. And hopefully you're able to get your hands wet, get in there, get your feet wet, that is, on hands in clinical. And then if you're going to do it on one patient, you need to give an SBAR or handoff report. So this is exactly what you should be saying or giving in report, but you're just going to write it out. So it really seems to help people to write out SBAR. If you're confused, you need to go back and look at previous courses at what's supposed to be in SBAR format. Ask nurses who are in the practice, ask your clinical instructors what goes into each section. I mean, it should be self-explanatory. We put out things in the skills fair for you. We can't spoon feed y'all. You need to go and look and see what goes in SBAR. We've given you this 2 semesters already, full what goes into SBAR, and so that needs to be done correctly, y'all. And then remember, it's at least 1 case log per clinical day and completed by the end of the clinical day. So if all these criteria are met, you get 10 points for that case log. If anything's missing, it's doctor point. If it's not done at all, you just don't get any points for it. So if you don't enter patient demographics, you just get a point. If you did not put in any adherence issues or select other and write not applicable, then you get 1 point. If you didn't list things, or maybe you wrote down something incorrectly, like you said that you performed ABGs, you'll be docked a point. If your SBAR is not correct, you'll get docked a point. If meaning stuff is all over the place, you can't, like, we can't figure out what are you talking about here. This is not an SBAR report. That's why I highly encourage you to write this out. Write S, type in your information for your situation. Write B, type in your background. Write A, write in your assessment, head to toe. Keep it organized. R, write in your recommendations. And remember, this is handoff, nurse to nurse. So you can give recommendations. I mean, you can do that to a physician, but remember your audience here. It's nurse to nurse handoff report. And then, oh shoot, gosh darn it. Sorry. I guess I need to update these one more time. I missed this part. These were previous ones that I updated. Okay, looks like I just missed that one. Okay, so I'm going to need to update this really quick and re-upload it. But if it's not, it's either you complete it by the end of the clinical day and you do 1 per day, or you don't. Okay, so I'll get that updated for y'all. Oh goodness, and the date. Wow. Okay, so that's it for the grading case rubrics, or the grading rubrics. Assignments, again, I updated and put the evals in here. The nursing care plans, hopefully you have done one by November 1st. Don't pay too much attention to the due dates on the nursing care plans. Those are, because everyone turns them in slightly different depending on their rotations. So guys, I'll get that that case log thing corrected really quick here, and let me know, please, if you have any questions, and give me pointed feedback if you're confused about anything. I can't help you if I don't know what's going on. So let me know. We want to make this as clear as possible for you. So please reach out to me, let me know, and we'll get everybody on the same page. Thanks.